Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about 40 plus ways that you can be more sustainable in your everyday life. This video will be like tips, products, and apps that you can use in your everyday life to kind of start living more sustainably. But I do want to say that no one ever expects you to be perfect. You cannot make every single choice in your life sustainable. We will always have a few areas where we're a bit weaker. For example, for me, it's clothes. But yeah, I just wanted to say that just because I'm going to list these 40 things doesn't mean you should be doing everything. Literally, if you do like 2 to 3 things on this list, it's already amazing. And the fact that you're even watching this video means you care, which is already amazing. Anyway, let's get into this video because I have over 40 things to talk about. So the first thing I want to say is in this video, I'm going to mention a lot of these like zero waste, reusable, sustainable products that you should be using in your house. Do not buy these products until your old products finish. These sustainable products are really good, but you should make the most use out of everything that you currently have. So if your closet is full of fast fashion clothes, don't throw it all out and get sustainable clothes, because then you're just wasting the fast fashion clothes that you had already bought. So just, if you have clothes that is from fast fashion brands, if you have like a pack of 10 plastic toothbrushes, just use them, don't throw them out, and only buy the sustainable products once you're finished with those. So the next tip that I want to mention is to try to buy clothes from ethical companies and try not to shop from fast fashion brands. So a lot of the times we go to like Pretty Little Thing or something and we see that there's a top for only £5 and we're like, oh my god, that's an amazing deal. Like, I get this really nice top and it's only £5, and then if I only wear it like 4 times, I won't feel guilty because it was only £5. But if you think about it, think about what you're paying your money for. Like £5 for the material, for the time it took to make it, for the transportation. Like, it doesn't make sense. Things don't add up. People are not getting paid. The material is not good. They're not using like sustainable resources to make the top, and just in general there's a lot of issues with the fast fashion industry. So if you can, try to shop from ethical brands. So one of my favorite sustainable brands, Vivea, is actually the sponsor of today's video. But if you have not heard of them, Vivea is basically an online footwear brand that specializes in making handcrafted, sustainable, eco-friendly shoes. Each one of these pairs that I'm about to show you guys is actually made from like 6 discarded recycled bottles, which is insane to me because they're literally using discarded recycled water bottles and they're making it into thread. But anyway, let me show you guys the shoes right now. The first shoes that I got are these Doris sandals in ivory. Basically, I don't live in a very warm country, so I can't wear these every single day, but I went to Spain and I brought these with me, and these were so comfortable. Like, this material is very soft, so it was never like hurting my foot as I was walking, and I would spend all day in these and it literally never hurt. Also, I wanted to mention, like, all these shoes are wide feet friendly because the material is just very stretchy in general. So if you're going on holiday and you want to bring these with, please get these, because look how easy it is to pack. Like, that is the most compact thing I've ever seen. Also, all of these shoes are washing machine friendly, so if they're ever like a tiny bit dirty, like for example these shoes I've already worn a couple of times, and I live in the UK, so obviously I got them a little bit dirty, but these shoes, like, I will literally just throw in the washing machine and they will come out like brand new. The next pair that I got are these Evermore sneakers in peanut brown. I'm obsessed with the colors on this because I kind of have a huge obsession with the color brown right now. I don't know if you can see this, but the material on these shoes is like super breathable, so it's just kind of like the perfect shoes to wear when you're going out for a really long day. So the next shoes we have are the Margot flats in cream ivory. I think I would wear these shoes with like fancy trousers because these shoes are very like elegant and very girly. Also, can we take a moment to see how flexible these shoes are? Like, you can fully bend them this way and then it just goes back to normal. Also, this is one of the features that I really like about all of the shoes that I have here. They have this little like V embroidered on all the shoes, and it's really like minimal and you might not notice it, but it's really cute and it just like represents their brand. Like, it's their branding without being too like flashy, you know. The next shoe I have is the Sierra loafers in pale gray. This color scheme will go with like 90% of my clothes. My clothes is literally like gray, beige, white, black. The quality of the material is like thick, but it's still stretchy. Like, I don't even know how they make that happen, but they made it happen. And as I showed you guys before, the sole is so flexible. And the last pair that I have are these Eileen loafers in cream ivory, and these remind me so much of like little ballet pumps. Also, I haven't shown you guys the insole, but you can literally take the insole out and just feel how soft it is. But yeah, those are all the shoes that I got from Vivea, but I will definitely be getting more because I really love Vivea's message, and in general their impact on the earth is already like amazing, and I really hope that more brands start moving in the same direction of making more of their materials sustainable and eco-friendly, because fast fashion isn't doing well for us. So if you guys want to get yourself some shoes, Vivea do free worldwide shipping on orders that are over $69. So if you want to see any of the shoes that I personally got or any other shoes they have on their website, make sure to check out all the links in my description. Everything will be down there. And yeah, thank you Vivair for sponsoring this video, and thank you for helping us save the earth. So the first product I'm going to mention is beeswax. So if you guys have not heard of beeswax, it's basically like a sustainable, eco-friendly version of cling film. So cling film is literally fully made out of single-use plastic, but beeswax, you can wash it, you can reuse it for up to a year, and it's also 100% biodegradable. So the next thing I'm going to mention is these little produce bags. So when you go to like a farmer's market, or if you go to the vegetable section in any store, a lot of the times they will have an option to get a plastic bag to put your fruit in or vegetables in, and you can just put them in these bags and you can literally reuse these for years. It's literally just like a plain mesh bag. The next product I would recommend getting is a bamboo toothbrush. Very simple. I feel like a lot of people would have heard of this one, but yeah, make sure to only get this once you actually run out of your other toothbrushes. And the next one is kind of unpopular, and I kind of understand why, but it's really not that bad, so I would really recommend to look into it. But you can buy natural toothpaste, and you can also buy like little toothpaste tablets. I think the only reason they're not really popular is because in toothpaste they put like a little bit of like mint to make it feel like your mouth is really fresh, but really that's nothing to do with your mouth being clean. It's just something they put in to make it feel like your mouth is fresh, whereas this doesn't lie to you. This is just like, I'm not trying to convince you your mouth is fresh. Your mouth is clean now. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is another product. So I would really recommend you guys to get a bento box or just a lunch box. Like, it can literally be any, there's not any specific one. The whole point is, if you have a lunch box and you make an effort to like put some food in it every time you go out, or every time you go out for a long time, it's going to be a lot less likely that you're going to want to buy packaged food on the outside. So the next thing I want to mention is this tooth floss. I think you just buy the glass little bottle one time, and then after that you can just get more tooth floss to put in, and then you never have to waste any plastic. So I have a lot more products to show you, but I think I'm going to go back to the tips a little bit because I don't want to overwhelm you with all these products. So the next tip would be to incorporate more vegan days into your life. So I'm not telling you to go fully vegan, just cut out meat and dairy from day one. Like, I know for a lot of people it doesn't work, and that's okay, but even if you had one vegan day per week, you would already be helping so much more rather than if you weren't having any vegan meals at all. Also, this is really random, but my sister sent me this TikTok about veganism the other day, and I think the way the guy came on sounds a little strong, but what he says makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna insert a TikTok in here.
You know what I'm saying? All I want to do is I found out what food is and what we need food for, and how our food is made, and how mad it is, how quick TLDR, cows, big glove, lubricant, push up the bum, sperm, whatever, bash the ball, get the sperm to make the baby, drag the baby away, kill the baby, tell them, you know what I mean, make beef, make pork, milk the mum, blood pass, poo in the milk, doesn't matter, somatic cell count, boom, 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 drink that, curdle it up, cheese, it's all crazy. Just to what for? Just to go, nice. You can do that, nice with plants. So I thought, why not just do the nice with plants? Simple. Does that make me vegan? No, I'm someone that's got sense. I've read something, researched it, it makes sense. Stop doing that. Also, cholesterol, death, do the heart, like, what's the point? Just do that, you know what I'm saying? So I just done that. I'm not against people that want to eat meat. If you're somewhere and you need meat to survive, you're out somewhere, you hunt and do it safe. But if you're in a world where you got your electric car on to charge with your phone, you know what I'm saying, drones delivering, whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Bruv, just eat the plants, it's calm.
So the next thing you should do if you can is shop at your local farmers market. I feel like local farmers markets, you don't really appreciate them until like you don't live near them anymore. But I used to live like kind of close to a farmers market in Latvia, and every single few days like my granny would bring this fresh produce that Latvian locals were growing in their garden, and it was just, first of all, it's healthier. It doesn't have all those chemicals and fertilizers that people use that pollute the earth. They're local, so they don't have to be transported. Like, in general, shopping local and buying from people that have literally grown these vegetables in their own gardens in the same country as you is a lot better for you and for the environment. So if you have one around, make sure to visit it, and you can bring your little produce bag. So speaking of food, the next recommendation is going to be an app. So I think in this video we have like 11 app recommendations, so this is your first one. If you're looking for vegan food near you, Happy Cow is a really good app. Basically, it just tells you like what vegan restaurants you have near you. So even if you're not vegan, Second, I would recommend to just get the app, see what you have around you to show you that you do probably have more options than you would have thought of. The next app I have is called Too Good To Go, which is basically to prevent food waste. So a lot of the times restaurants and cafes prepare a little bit too much food that they need. So at the end of the day, they don't really want to throw all the food out, but they can't sell it the next day. So on Too Good To Go, they will sell that food for like 90% less. Like, it's literally crazy. You can get something that usually costs like £5 for like 50p. It's a huge discount because they're gonna either sell it to you for really cheap or they're gonna throw it out. The next app is called Olio. It's basically the same thing. The reason that I wanted to tell you guys about both of them is because I think it really depends on each region. Like, Too Good To Go I know is really good in the UK, but I don't know how good it is in other countries. Make sure to check out Too Good To Go and Olio because they're both kind of the same thing, but maybe one of them will have more options for you in your country. My next tip is to bring a tote bag or a produce bag literally everywhere you go, because sometimes when you go outside, you don't realize you need a bag. Like, you wouldn't think you need a bag, and then you end up going to the shop or you end up buying something or someone will give you something and then you'll be like, oh, I wish I had a bag. The next tip is very similar, but it is with a water bottle. I wouldn't recommend to carry around such a huge bottle. I think if you're gonna get reusable bottles, get like a small one and a big one. I think if you get like a small reusable bottle, if you carry it around everywhere in your little tote bag, you're good to go. The next recommendation is going to be an app recommendation. So this app is called Refill and it's basically also related to the water thing that I just mentioned. So if you bring a small bottle of water, you might finish it really quickly. So Refill is basically an app that shows you places where you can refill your water. Okay, so now we're going to move a little bit away from food and water and we're going to talk about clothes. So the tip that I have is try to stop following fashion trends. They do not last. They are just ways for the fashion brands to get money off you, because if there was no such thing as trends, like if people just wore kind of the same clothes all the time, they would never make that much money because people would just buy the same clothes. And naturally, we don't need to buy clothes that often because clothes, if it's well made, it will last for a long time. But because of trends, we are encouraged to buy new clothes even when we don't need them, just because we want to fit the trends. Obviously, if you're really into fashion and this is just the way you express yourself, go ahead. But when you're buying a piece, just like think about it thoroughly. But also I wanted to say, if you do already own these trendy clothes from this current season or whatever, don't just throw them out because they're not trendy anymore. I've seen a lot of videos where people are like, oh, these are the trends that we should leave in 2020. And I really disagree with those type of videos, because once again, it's encouraging you that this piece of clothing that you probably bought last year is not good enough anymore just because of what society says and not because of its actual quality. So the next recommendation I'm gonna make is also related to clothes. It's this app called Good On You. Good On You gives rating to brands based on their environmental impact, their animal welfare, and also their labor conditions. The next app is called Think Dirty. So it's basically like a makeup and beauty version of Good On You. So we're coming back to my produce bags. But the next tip is, if you can, try to buy unpackaged fruit and vegetables. If you see like a pepper on its own and then you see like a pack of peppers in plastic, if you can, it would be a lot better to buy like 3 peppers separately and just bring them in a produce bag rather than buying a pack of plastic. The next app recommendation I have is Geeky. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce that. It's basically to find out if a product is eco-friendly. So if you're in the shop, you can literally just scan a product and it will tell you like, has this been made in eco-friendly ways? Is the packaging sustainable? Those type of things. So it'll just give you information about a product. I think they have this system where they give badges. So the more badges a product has, the better it is. So I think Geeky is mostly just in the UK. So if you're not in the UK, Code Check is another really good app. It's basically the same premise, but obviously a little bit different. Okay, so we're gonna go back to all the little zero waste products that I have. So the next thing I have is reusable Ziploc bags. These are really useful. So if you feel like you use Ziploc bags a lot, maybe like you bring a sandwich to school every day in cling film, or like you put it in like a sandwich bag, these are a really good alternative. These literally don't let anything spill. The next thing I have is a bamboo dish brush. So these are basically a replacement to wash your dishes, and these are very good because they're made out of bamboo, and whenever you feel like the actual brush is getting kind of old, you just take it out like this and then you can just replace this brush with a new brush. So the next thing I want to talk about is reusable pads. So these pads are really easy to use. Like after you use it, you just wash it in the sink and then you put it in the washing machine and it's all good as new, and you don't have to use all those plastic from pads because pads are actually mostly made out of plastic, which is insane. And also like cotton, it needs a lot of water to be produced. So reusable pads are a really good option if you're not into menstrual cups. And the next thing we have is metal straws. This was like so popular at some point. I am so happy that plastic straws are basically gone. I feel like I've literally haven't seen one in months. Like restaurants don't sell them anymore. I feel like in some countries it's not legal anymore. Like they don't sell plastic straws. The next thing I have is reusable baking paper, and you might be like, what the hell is that? But basically you don't have to buy baking paper again because you can buy these like silicone sheets and then you just wash them when you use them and then you have baking paper all over again. So the next thing I have is reusable makeup pads. So these can either be something to take your makeup off. I've seen people use these things like to take their nail polish off, or like for me, I personally use this to put toner on. So I use this as like cotton pads. You use these for whatever you need. You put them in the wash and then you can use them many more times after that. So the next thing on my list is a stainless safety razor. So the reason I don't have one is because, as I said earlier, if you already have a lot of a certain product, don't buy the zero waste product until you finish all of the non-zero waste product. So I currently have a lot of like shaving razors at home and I want to finish them all until I buy the stainless safety razor. So I currently don't have one, but it is something that I'm going to buy really soon as I run out of the ones that I already have. My next tip is to use a menstrual cup, and this is not for everyone, but I really promise you guys it's not as bad as it seems. I feel like I've watched a few of those like menstrual cup horror stories, but it's really like the very minority. It does not happen very often. These are very safe. They cannot get lost up there. So actually I'm gonna read you guys some statistics that I wrote down, but for every 528 tampons or pads, you only use one menstrual cup. So I think they tell you to change your menstrual cup every 2 years, whereas in 2 years you would use around 528 pads or tampons, or you could just use one of these. First of all, you're saving a lot more money. Second of all, it's better for the environment. So once again, it's a win-win. I think the reason people don't want to do it is because it sounds scary, it looks scary, but it's not. After the first month and like getting used to how it works, you actually start preferring it. Like I could never go back to tampons and pads again because this is just so much more comfortable. Menstrual cups are made from silicone, which is a material derived from a type of sand called silica, and as it degrades, it will slowly go back to its original state. That's all I can say about menstrual cups, but I'm a very big menstrual cup fan. The next tip I have is to get shampoo and soap bars. So these are a lot better than obviously normal shampoo and conditioner and soap because they don't come in the plastic packaging. I'm not 100% sure how good of a company Lush is, but I know that Lush do this thing where like you buy like a tin of soap, and when your soap finishes, you come back with the tin and they refill it, and you don't ever have to use plastic for soap or shampoo and conditioner. So the next tip I have is to switch your light bulbs to LED lights. I actually only found out about this recently, and let me come at you with some facts. LEDs save up to 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs. They also save your energy bills. They last 25 times longer and they're a lot more affordable. The next tip I have is to use as many of your old products as cleaning products. This is very random, but like for example, you have to change your toothbrush every 3 months. So when you get a new toothbrush and you use it for 3 months, don't just throw it out after 3 months. You could after use that toothbrush to clean your shoes, or for example, like instead of throwing out old socks, you can use them as like rags, and you can literally like, put your hand in the sock and like clean corners. Like you can dust corners with your socks, or if it's just like a ripped t-shirt that you're never gonna wear again, you can cut it up and make some rags to like clean the windows, or I don't know, just like make the most use out of your items. Don't just throw them out when you think their use is over. Try to think, what else can I do with this item to prolong its use, if that makes sense. The next thing I'm going to tell you is about wish cycling. So I'm going to read stuff out because I'm not a huge pro on this, but I found out about it recently as well. So wish cycling is basically when you throw something into the recycling bin wishing that it's recyclable, or just like kind of hoping that it is, and it's really bad. So let me explain to you why. For example, if you have a peanut butter jar and there's just a little tiny bit of peanut butter stuck on the bottom and you're like, nobody will notice this, it's fine, I'm gonna throw it into the recycling bin. Melting down the plastic requires really hot temperatures, and then it means that the new plastics are formed with burned scraps of food, and then this leads to contaminated plastic, which is no good, which just ends up being thrown out. So yeah, please look into wish cycling, because it's just like there's no point of even recycling if you're not doing it right, because then it's just gonna get thrown into landfill or it's gonna contaminate the plastic. So my next recommendation is actually a chrome extension, and it's called Ecosia. So Ecosia is basically a search engine like Google, but unlike Google, Ecosia plants trees and Google doesn't. So basically, whenever you search something on Google, you will always see like the first 2 links are usually ads. So on Ecosia it's the same. Like usually when you search something up, the first 2 links will be ads, but you just don't click on them and you click on whatever you need. And for those ads, Ecosia gets paid, and Ecosia uses that money to plant trees. And I think they're from Berlin, which is like a really tiny fact, but I think Berlin is a very, very green city. Like they really care about veganism and like climate change. So, and my last 2 points are very niche and they're not going to be for everyone, but I would just say that you guys should start looking into gardening and growing your own food. This is currently what I'm kind of trying to learn about. I do want to get to the point in my life where I basically grow all my own food. I don't really have to buy things in the shop. Another tip I have is related, and it's basically to eat seasonally. So a lot of the times we kind of want to eat food all year round. I don't know if this is seasonal, but like for example, I know that mandarins taste the best during winter time. I don't know if that's their season, but that's just like what I know. So obviously in the place that they're grown, that is the best season for them. So you should only eat them in the season where they're really good. And also you should try to eat local. So if you can look up, actually I wrote down a website. The website is called UFIC. So if you look up on Google like UFIC seasonal fruit and veg, you can check for your country like what is the seasonal veg and fruit for September, and then it's gonna tell you all the seasonal fruit that just naturally would grow in your country in that month. That's a very specific tip. It's not necessary, but it would be very good for you, your health, and the environment. And the next 2 recommendations I have are just apps for gardening and just like learning about food. So the first one is, I don't know how to pronounce it, iHuerting. This is basically an app that tells you information, I think, about like how to grow your own garden, how to grow food, and I think it even like helps you track it. So if you are looking into like growing your own garden, this is a really good app. And then the next app I would recommend is Blossom. I currently have a subscription to Blossom, but I currently only use it for plants, like non-edible plants, like just plants around the house. But it's a really good app because you can learn about the plants that you're planting. It also gives you reminders of when you should water that plant, and in general you can build like your own garden on this app, and then it'll tell you like, oh, you have to water this plant today at 6 p.m. you have to water this plant tomorrow. So yeah, those are 2 really good apps to kind of learn more about the gardening life and keep track of all your plants and learn how to grow your own garden. Those are all my tips. I don't know how many that was at that point, but my throat hurts from talking, and I'm sorry I've been talking for so long, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope you take something away from it. Let me know like what sustainable thing you've already been doing, or what's something that you want to pick up that you didn't really know about before. For me, I do most of these. I think the only things that I don't do yet is right now I don't garden, but that's like a really, really big goal of mine in the future. Another thing, I don't have the safety razor, and I'm still working on the whole fashion thing. I don't think I follow trends. I think I'm pretty good with that. But about a year ago, I had a moment where I was just buying a lot of things, and I did it very mindlessly, and I regret it so much. But now I can't really do anything. I'm stuck with a lot of stuff. So I'm just trying to make the most use I can of all the stuff that I currently have, and I'm trying to move on in the future with not buying this much. So I'm not perfect, and I will see you guys next time. I love you all so much. Peace out.